and welcome to Do the Right Thing, Total Agony. They're professional this evening.
Yeah, very professional.
I'm producer Ben, and with me trying to do the right thing today, up above, it's Michael Legg and Margaret Cable-Smith. And down below, it's our very special guest, Mr. Robin Ince.
I don't know if that's right.
I love that opening, by the way. That was
Robin.
great. There is nothing better than a presenter immediately complimenting themselves and going, that was professional. I did the first sentence right. That's what Phil Schofield does every time. Welcome to this morning. I did it. I did it. I said this morning, didn't I?
I mean, I didn't last week, so I'm I'm just trying to build up my confidence. Thanks for doing the show, Robin.
No, it's lovely to be here. Well, I mean, I'm where I always am.
Yeah.
I haven't gone anywhere, have I? I was here when I played the Albert Hall last night. This was my Albert Hall.
It feels different though, doesn't it? I do different shows in different areas.
And voices, because as an actor, you have an incredible range. I mean, that's what I love, is never quite knowing who are we getting.
Well, today I did a long voiceover for a show called 100 Amazing Moments Caught on Camera. That's quite vague, isn't it?
So they're called a history of television. What is it? It's a history of television. And a lot of television was caught on camera. Doctor Who was caught on camera. Blake 7, Nationwide, all caught on camera.
No, it was
So what was the most amazing thing that's ever been caught on camera?
You'll have signed an NDA, won't you?
Well, it wasn't... No, I didn't sign an NDA. Always thinking...
Not on camera, anyway.
Give us a scoop.
No, well, it's not. They're not stupid. They don't do a countdown, so it's the.
They are
100.
fucking stupid.
Okay.
So it's all over the place.
Okay, we've had a guess of the moon landing. I'm going to guess Twin Towers because
No.
I want to bring the joy up.
No, it was amazing. Whether you like it or not, you have to give it kudos.
Yeah. No, nothing that was ever on television. That's one of the. So do you know? Have you heard of YouTube, Ben?
Oh yes.
Have you heard of the internet?
Yes.
It's things that they
Is
can
it good?
steal from the internet.
Oh,
For free.
of course it is.
100 moments
Right.
stolen from the internet.
So what they're saying is that the internet is better than TV. That's the first.
Well, no, it becomes as good as TV once you put my voiceover on it.
It's true.
Yeah.
See, that's what I thought was missing from 9/11. If you could just...
Can we Ben?
No, Margaret,
Ben.
admit you should have been part of 9/11. Just
Ben.
admit it.
Right.
Admit
So
it. Admit
we've got some guesses. Paul Shane singing "You've Lost That Loving Feeling." Again, that's
Don't
Again,
count.
on
its
television.
equivalent. Yeah.
Oh, I know. A cat. The woman who put a cat in a bin.
No,
Yeah,
again, I
definitely
think that
Cat
was
in the Bin.
shown on TV.
A
hang on,
guy
so-
hurting his
News.
balls. Got a guess here? No.
No, you're right. Cat Bin Lady. Well, Cat Bin Lady would have been a bit controversial. They were mainly like rescues from burning buildings.
More
and
controversial than 9/11.
icebergs. Stop going on about 9/11. I'm so sick of you going on about 9/11.
Do you know what? It was actually
Morning,
quite a big
noon,
deal,
and
Margaret.
night. Get over it.
Gee, I'm so glad you're cancelled now. It's a long time coming, Margaret.
I know. No one cares. That's the only reason I haven't been cancelled.
Sure.
No one gives a shit. Ben.
Yes.
Ben, help us.
Ben's doing some other work.
Well, I'm just saying a lot of cat stuff being suggested. The moon landing again. I think that was on TV. So, let's lead into our first problem, shall we? Michael, I sent it to you earlier. Did you get it?
Oh, shit. No.
You didn't.
I really
Okay.
didn't. I really didn't know.
Do you want me to
I
do it?
had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't.
No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I'm a professional, and just because
You are a professional.
I've been horrible so far doesn't mean I'm going to be. I
I
haven't
think
got
the
it.
amount that we're all saying
I
I'm
haven't
a
got it.
professional isn't that professional.
No, I haven't got it. I haven't got it,
I think
Ben.
Robin's right. If we have to say at the end of every thing.
I've got it!
Well, shall I do it?
Oh,
You've
great.
got it.
Hang on. Michael's got it.
This
Robin,
is another.
Rob, can I just let you know? I know that you're always a very slick professional person in anything you do. I just want you to know that this is exactly what this is always like.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
so don't worry, it's going right.
I just think that
Yeah,
last
'cause
night,
Robin hasn't done this.
Robin may never do the show. I think Robin may well have realised that he's made some very poor career decisions during this bunker period of his life. Career.
Oh, unlike any other stage of your career.
Yeah, unlike any other time where I don't go, oh yeah, I'm definitely available. I can, yeah, whatever it is. Don't even bother telling me. I'll just turn up. Lovely, thank you.
Well,
What
Robin,
good.
we're
Glad
here
to
to solve problems, and someone
Okay.
has written into us, and I'm very professionally have that letter in front of me as I have done all day. Now, here we go. Dear Agony Aunt, my ex-girlfriend and I were together for nearly a year. We broke up a couple of months ago due to just not being right for each other. And also because I cheated on her with other girls. She found out shortly after we split, and understandably, she hates me now. Back when we were together, she introduced me to Game of Thrones, and I got addicted to it. After we broke up, I moved to the UK with work. I didn't realise, but in the UK, Game of Thrones is screened after it is screened in the US. My ex blocked me on every form of communication when we broke up. But on the Monday after season 6 of Game of Thrones premiered, she unblocked me and I saw I had messages from her. I was excited because I thought maybe she'd forgiven me and we could move on. But the messages were literally just every spoiler from the first episode. I think she's amazing.
I think this is brilliant, yeah.
It's really good.
I think she's amazing.
Since then, she spoils the show for me every week. I tried to ask her to stop, but she blocks me immediately after she sends the message. I blocked her on WhatsApp, but she did it via Facebook. Then the next week, it was text. She even borrowed one of our mutual friends' phones to do it, and I fell for that. I know I didn't treat her very well, but I just want to watch my favorite show again. Is there any way I can make peace with her so she won't ruin it anymore?
Oh, what I love now is it would not surprise me if she is actually at Juilliard learning to be an actor so that she can be, and just like eventually that will be magnificent. There, yeah, I'm in the new series. Yeah, they brought it back. I know it got to them, but they brought it back. Yeah, I made sure it came back. Yeah. I'm in the new series. Not even out for 6 months. Let me tell you which dragon dies. Is that what it's about? I've never seen it.
Here is the thing. You'd like to think maybe if he treated his ex very badly, he would regret that and sort of not just regret hurting, but also regret the loss that he must feel, I would imagine. But on top of that, now that she's done that, how can he not be in love with her for all time? Because that is amazing. She's phenomenal.
Also, it shows how I think social media has really kind of lowered the amount of jeopardy, because I remember Play Misty for me and the film Fatal Attraction, and that was far worse than spoilers. That was dead rabbits, that was murder, that was not just occasional sword and sorcery spoilers.
No, exactly. She's coming across really well, because I'm not so keen on the killing of pets. It's a bit much, isn't it? But the spoiling of a show, yeah. I mean, I'd go out with her.
See, that might happen though. That might happen in a basic what's it called? Fatal Attraction reboot. Like right from the word go.
Rabbit comes back to life.
But when Michael Douglas, it's a total reboot. When the new Michael Douglas meets the new Glenn Close, she might immediately go, "I'm going to kill your rabbit." What? Would you tell me that? Well, it's going to happen later. Just spoil the entire movie right from the word go. Margaret has frozen, by the way. I just want you to know that, from my point of view, Margaret is completely frozen, and it's really, really good.
Well, a lot of people think she hasn't actually frozen. What people have finally found out is Margaret has merely been a flick book all along, and tragically, due to the puppeteer's arthritis, she is now stuck on page 17, which is drinking, it turns out.
Yes.
Oh,
well, listen, but if you were that guy, and Robin, I don't know, maybe you are that guy, I don't know. There's a lot about you that I don't know, and I bet you are underneath it, but you really are a Game of Thrones fan. So, I don't know, if you were that guy, wouldn't you just go, do you know what, that's enough. Like, I have to have this thing spoiled for me. It's not about sort of like, what good thing can I do for her? That's the thing that you can do for her, is to make your life miserable for her. I mean, you're making mine a lot happier for me.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. I think
he should try to win her back, though, shouldn't he?
No.
He cheated on her with lots of different.
She's
The trouble
ladies.
is,
and also she's better than him. And
yeah.
no.
The trouble
no,
is,
no,
you
no.
can't unfuck those women. And that's what he should do.
But I also think there's a
Is there a way
real
of going back in
cheeriness in
time?
that revenge. That's a cheery revenge
It's
for
so
spoiler.
It's so much fun. It's there's no there's no
Yes.
violence involved. Although
It's
I believe there is
sweet,
violence in
yeah.
Game of Thrones. It is. It's sweet. It's really lovely.
It
And in
has
many
that
ways-
Beano quality. Snigger, tusk. Those are
And
the
in many
qualities
ways-
of that revenge.
He should be flattered that she's remembered what he likes. Do you know
What are
what?
his other, we should find out what his other favourite series are,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
that's where the real jeopardy lies. Or if he's a big M. Night Shyamalan fan as well,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, the village is just an enclave in a modern world. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. Just watch the first 5 minutes. You'll figure it out.
You
Well, no, I
Just got the
don't.
sound rise.
I mean, I think
have I,
think
sw-
you have.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. We can hear you, Margaret. That's the
all right.
important thing.
what is great though is each time you freeze, it's exactly the same as the six
All right.
faces on your
But how
spotlight
bad-
page.
with a hat,
Yeah.
with a gilet.
Yeah.
showing
Can't play
my
hat.
winter
Can't play
range.
cigarette. Can't play hat and
Yeah.
cigarette.
Showing Goofy.
Margaret, we're just going to push on. We'll see what happens. We can hear you, and you can hear us, it
No,
seems.
one of the tips we had at drama school was no hats, no punch bags.
No, have
Sure.
the punch bags.
Well, I can see me. I can't see any of you. You're all frozen in terrifying poses.
Well,
to
that's
me.
the twist. That was the twist.
Yeah. Well,
Does she need to refresh, Rob?
Oh.
Yes, apparently. Anyway, well,
Ben,
yes.
do we have to genuinely solve this problem for the guy, even though we don't want to?
I mean, I sort of picked this because I really like the revenge and was going to ask all
Yeah.
sorts of questions about
Sure.
the best revenge you've ever heard of or enacted or had enacted upon you. And then I assume we're all just going to say he deserves it. But if you can suggest a way that he could make peace with her, then all power to your elbow. I'm not sure any of the answers I have at the end suggests an actual
I
strategy.
think the narrative is better without peace. I think if this is going to
Yes.
run to 7 or 8 series as a spoiler-based social media abuse, then we don't want peace at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, but we are supposed to be giving him advice.
Oh.
Do you
well-
think the advice is you deserve this, so just accept it and
Yeah,
feel
just
like
live with it. Live
And
with
don't buy
it.
a rabbit. Don't buy a rabbit.
learn from your mistakes.
And
Don't buy a
accept that
rabbit.
it's
Don't
brilliant.
go out with anyone ever again.
You're meant to be giving me advice, but you're also meant to be
He
second
knows- I
guessing
think he knows
the
it's
advice
wrong.
he was given.
And don't go out with anyone ever again.
Oh, I'm surely he was just told to. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, surely he was just told to
Throw
go
yourself
fuck
in the
himself
bin.
by an agony ant. Right.
It's not an agony aunt. I should say this was on
Yeah,
Reddit. This was
nobody's giving
Reddit.
him
Oh,
proper
okay.
advice.
This is Reddit.
Oh,
this was opening
hang
himself
on.
up.
Yes.
Hang on, it wasn't an
So they're
agony
gonna
aunt, it was
be-
the internet.
It was the internet.
I-
All right.
Oh, jeez.
Margaret, could you do a voiceover for this? It sounds very much like a top 100 show. So, yeah. I think this one's coming at number 97.
I could, but
Yeah, Margaret's being informed to quit her browser and restart it. We could be without Margaret for a short while.
A lot of
That's
people feel that this lockdown has affected the quality of entertainment that's being created from people's homes. But I think the level of suspense created by it, as an Ingmar Bergman fan, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The lack of event is the thing that drives it on.
And the thing is, no matter what we think, the effects budget involved in this is actually much higher than, say, for instance, The Evil Dead 2. So technically, this is quite a sophisticated film.
Well, can I just check how much because you can occasionally make the sound of a TARDIS, can't you? How much did that button cost?
One now, but
It turns out.
Is
I
there?
told you that TARDIS you bought from the market wasn't good enough.
it's the sound of a door shutting on the TARDIS.
yeah,
Can you
that's,
see me? Am I
that's
moving
one
again?
of the,
I can
that's
see you
one
and
of
I can
the
hear you.
many noises the TARDIS makes, which is thud. Yeah.
Can I ask,
Hello?
have you ever got delicious revenge on someone in a way you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, I have, and I'm never going to tell because, to be honest, it's taken me years to come to terms with the fact this is the worst thing that I've ever done. So no, I don't want to tell that story.
Worse than shitting in their cat's litter tray.
No, that was fun prank.
That was fun,
no,
Michael.
Hang on, is this
fun prank.
is this the one where you clean out the litter tray every single day so people believe the cat hasn't done a poo, and then eventually you did one of your big poos in it, so people think the cat is no?
Yeah, that's pretty much. I did that except for clearing out the cat's litter tray. I just went straight to doing a shit in it.
But what I want to
I'm
know
a
is,
complex man, Robin.
how does this supposed prank change
No, you're
from
not.
your traditional bathroom ways? There's never been a man with a more gravelly bathroom than you. It's just an airing cupboard that's let itself go.
That is
What me? Yeah,
Yeah, you're an airing
terrible
cupboard
thing
that's let
to say
itself go.
about someone.
yeah.
So, Michael, you have got revenge.
Yeah.
I have got revenge,
But not revenge you want to share.
Well, I mean, I was a young man at the time, and but it was legitimate revenge. I was treated badly. And
Right, okay.
And then I had revenge that lasted
Yeah.
2 years.
Oh, good. Robin, ever got revenge
No.
or had revenge got on you, Margaret?
No.
You're a vengeful type?
People are not really. People are telling me to make small movements and be subtle. How's that going for everyone?
What for
How
revenge?
many times have you had that as a directorial tip, by the way? A little bit smaller, Margaret, a little bit smaller.
I mean, just a bit small. Yeah, you're hurting us, Margaret. Can you step away from the camera, please, Margaret? Yeah, quite a lot. No, I once had the director say, "Could you do it again, but 0.5% smaller?" And I was like, I mean, I could, but you wouldn't be able to tell. Like 0.5%,
0.5%,
so
yeah.
tiny. 0.5%, absolute rubbish. No, revenge is very bad for you, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Very
For
bad
Margaret,
your
revenge is a
soul.
dish best served really warm with good friends. It's really lovely.
Do you think that's...
No,
you
what
think
did
that-
Dolly Parton say? Forgiveness is everything.
Okay.
And
Sure.
that's Dolly Parton, so that's
Yeah,
Michael's
she knows
God.
Oh, my favourite Dolly Parton thing is that thing where she says, "I don't mind people calling me a dumb blonde because I know I'm not dumb and I know I'm not blonde." She's
Yeah,
so great.
She's
I love her.
amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying, I bet
God.
Danielle has had revenge, which I think is probably a fair bet. Bollocking passwords.
Well, I mean,
says that.
God,
she wrote an
yeah,
entire
we should.
musical about revenge.
Oh, I feel like I know.
She did. True.
All of
Gutted.
them
It's
musicals
online.
about
Listen to it, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about spoilers.
I think, her entire career is revenge, basically.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, you can't hear me properly. Yeah.
I think she would have died a
Should I
long
shut
time
up?
ago if it wasn't for revenge.
Absolutely. She's just
Her being
expired out
alive is
boredom.
revenge on someone.
We covered revenge. Just on the
Right.
spoilers side of
Haven't we?
things, is there a show or anything you've ever strenuously avoided spoilers for, to a ludicrous extent? Were you
I'm
not
quite the
fussed?
opposite. My wife gets annoyed with this. The moment she goes, "Oh, it's a 14-part detective series," I go straight on Wikipedia and go, "Oh, okay, no, it sounds rubbish." So I'm going. This is the thing that I do. It's like with my trick, which I have told before. It's ITV3, right? If you go, "Oh, maybe I fancy an Oxford-based melancholy detective thriller, but I haven't got 2 hours," always start watching Endeavour, Morsel, Lewis on ITV3 +1. And then half an hour in, turn over to ITV3, and you have saved an hour of filler. Sometimes it means I don't see my friends who have small parts as station masters in it, or whatever else it might be. Apart from that, I don't mind.
That's a good tip. I do that. I Wikipedia the end of films.
Yeah, I've occasionally started Agatha Christie books and got bored within like pages and just looked up who it was. I just don't think I understand spoilers.
Do you
know,
like- do you-
twists, or the
do you
idea
like
of that
read-
satisfaction?
Do you read Agatha Christie books like you're Columbo? Like you know who it is right at the beginning? And then you...
Well, yeah, Columbo's the only one I like because
Right.
of that. Like, let's just all set it up in the beginning, And then
Yeah.
we can all watch a clever man be clever.
Yeah, because you could watch an episode, and in the first 5 minutes, say for instance, your house bursts into flames. It's okay because you know what's happened in Colombo, so you can just leave the house.
And my house is always bursting into flames. It's true.
Sure.
I made the mistake once about, what was it, 1999. I was hosting a 48-hour cult movie weekend at the Prince Charles Cinema, and the first film, like the previews of stuff, and it was Sixth Sense. It was this big thing, and the guy in charge said, "I'll make sure you mention about the fact that everyone's very excited about this because of the twist and everything." So I said that in the introduction, that it's this film apparently just takes you in so many places you never quite know where it is, and there's not really realising what it's doing. And then a year later, I was at an event about The Wicker Man, and I was chatting with this bloke, having a lovely conversation, and he went, "Oh yeah, I tell you what, sometimes you go to these film events though, people are fucking idiots. I went to see The Sixth Sense, and the idiot who introduced it said, 'Oh, there's an amazing twist in it.' So I worked it out immediately. I went, 'Hello.' So that was yeah. But I don't. Yeah,
My friend guessed the ending of that in the queue on the way into the cinema, and really annoyed the people around him.
What, based on a poster?
Yeah.
Well, I really
well,
like.
to be fair, I think he knew what the twist was. That was it.
I really like when The Usual Suspects came out, and the poster was in the London Underground all over the place, and people started just drawing arrows above Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. You see, that's better than a twist, isn't it? Like a really funny spoiler is better than
it's really funny.
a decent twist.
It's really funny.
Well, that is, I don't know whether it's, I used to be, in one of my facetious and pointless ways, that habit of walking out of a film that's a thriller, and as you walk out past the next queue going, I mean, it's amazing because all the way through, after the first 10 minutes, you think she's dead, and then it turns out she wasn't at all. You see the whole queue, and then they sit and watch the film and find out you were lying, and your twist was better.
So you've doubly ruined that film.
I've done a double ruiner, yeah.
Lovely.
Double ruination.
You're a double ruiner.
In the
that is what people think of you.
Yeah, I'm double ruination.
Oh, Robin Ince, he's a double ruiner. Yeah.
So did we get that question right then, Ben?
Well, shall I give you the answers? I mean, yes, I think you did, insofar as, especially once I revealed it was on Reddit. Basically, the advice came from readers of Reddit relationships page, who mostly told the guy he deserved everything he had coming to him, and also replied with loads more spoilers about Game of Thrones.
Very good.
The one more useful response, which I think is demonstrably, objectively true, is develop some willpower. That thing you were sadly lacking when you cheated on your ex with other girls, and avoid looking at any messages until you've managed to watch each new episode, which is a fairly simple fix, really. But it's clearly the ex knew what he was like.
Yeah, how many episodes there are? I mean, it's hours and hours.
I think the thing was, and I
look at your phone.
I didn't really watch Game of Thrones, but I think the thing was it was screened in the US, and then like a day later it was screened in the UK, or just because of time zones. And so it just means not looking at your phone or accepting any messages for a sort of a working day before you can get home to watch it. So clearly this guy has no willpower, because she managed to outfox him every week through a different messaging app.
Yeah. It is. You're right. It's a time zone thing, because in America, Game of Thrones was a breakfast show, wasn't it? And as we showed it in the evening, so yeah, that was a I remember now.
That's what it was. Well, we'll move on to fix some of the audience's problems. Less revenge that way. But before that, I don't know who earned this yet, but I'm gonna plug stuff. Seamless. Michael, last week you asked me to plug your
plug time.
Yeah,
it's plug time.
Well, it is. Michael, last week you asked me to plug your shit dinner parties, which are on YouTube. Yeah, and I failed to do so.
Well,
is Margaret in all of them?
She is in both of them
so far.
She has now agreed to be in the third, so I guess she's in all of them. The next one's on Wednesday the 27th, I think. If that seems like
that's a Wednesday
could exist, then that's the date. So that'll be.
Is that how we're choosing dates now? If they exist?
Yeah, if the date is possible, then it exists.
No, not if it exists. If it sounds, even if it just sounds like it exists, then it's happening. And that'll be on a YouTube channel via Next Up Comedy, so you'll figure that out, internet people. and the special guests are Margaret K. Board-Smith and so definitely tune in. Definitely tune in.
They're good
for that.
I
but the
love
other
the
two
fact-
are also online.
The man who is least likely to have a dinner party now that everyone is sectioned off is safely having dinner parties.
It's such a clever concept, Robin. I'm way ahead of everyone on this fucking stupid streaming bullshit because I put the word shit in the title of it so no one can fucking complain.
Oh, man. Is it as good as... I remember when you did the Are You Being Served dining experience in Edinburgh, and that was great, Michael. That was so good.
I called that "Are You Being Shit?"
Yeah,
and I was.
Hang on, I think you just called it "I'm Shit." Wasn't that
I'm
it?
shit.
It's the spin-off.
Have you seen my shit?
You see, lots of people avoid putting shit in their titles
Yeah,
because they worry about the critics. But when you know you're not going to get reviewed, you may as well advertise.
The thing is, I see
How
the
shit you
product
are.
so clearly, right? and yet other auteurs are insanely obsessed with their own ego. Whereas now I'm just a really normal guy. Anyway, shit on the party, Wednesday 27th or whatever month this is. Who fucking knows in what year it is anymore?
And the previous ones are online as well, aren't they?
And the previous ones are online. Yeah.
Look,
Someone
Margaret.
saying any vitriolas soon. Last one was class.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow.
That sounds wrong in my accent. By the way.
Yeah.
Last
Tomorrow.
one was class.
If Tuesday exists, we'll be doing it tomorrow. So Michael, we'll be checking the Tuesday nature of tomorrow, and if it is Tuesday, so that'll be 8:30.
I'm just gonna Google Tuesday. No?
And so,
So I think we're doing it. Yeah, 8:30. We're doing the Vitriola tomorrow night. And who have we got so far?
Oh, it's brilliant. We've got Jim Bob, who's going to be doing some music, and we've also got Owen Parker, who will be doing some chat. And this time we might actually get him on before the last 2 minutes of the program. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he enjoyed the suspense.
Oh, he loved it.
Yeah.
I think
He really enjoyed that
thing.
waste of time. He enjoyed
Because
that.
it's a bit like being backstage at the Richard and Judy show, isn't it? It's gone, oh, I'm about to be on telly. Oh, maybe I'm not. Yeah, it's that lovely feeling of being bumped for this. Yeah.
And Wi-Fi Wars interactive shows are also back this week.
yeah, I've just messaged Rob to give me some information so I can actually flesh that out. But
They
They're
can
back.
Google it. If they can
Yeah.
Google days of the week, they can Google Wi-Fi Wars interaction.
Are we just telling people our problems now?
I'm building up to asking.
We're not getting enough attention. That's our problem.
I'm building up because Robin's been making a Herculean effort to create content and give people things to watch online. Robin, please tell us about the Cosmic Shambles Network's Stay at Home Festival and all that.
We're not really doing that much now.
Right, fair enough.
Good. So
He stopped his Herculean.
We're doing Vitriola tomorrow, and I think we've got about 4 or 5 shows this week, and we're doing a science Q&A on Sunday, and I think there's a science kids show as well on Saturday. And Josie's doing a quarantine comedy club, and we've got a book shambles coming up next week. So we're doing about 5 or 6. But previously we were doing, I think, 11 shows a week, and you can still watch all those. We did 3 with Mark Gatiss and a bunch with Dave McColeman and Natalie Haynes and Sarah Pascoe and Joe Brand and loads of other things like that. And so that's what we've been up to, really.
Rob,
And also we've got Infinite Monkey Cage. If anyone's interested, that's coming back. And I said beforehand, we've got ridiculous, because no one has a good alibi when you say, what are you doing on Tuesday? Michael already is working out his alibis, which is to say that days no longer exist to get out of doing work. How can I do Wednesday when Wednesday is very much a fiction?
Here's the thing, Robin. Here's the thing. I genuinely do that. And it's only, I'd say, every 10 days or so since lockdown that I go, oh, hang on. It's only my life that's put on hold. Time isn't. I'm aging, and I'm aging horribly, disgustingly. But I think no, everything's been paused. No, it hasn't. I'm dying.
Yeah, we're all still dying. That's the
Yeah, don't worry about that.
thing.
That's what's lovely, isn't it? There are some things that whatever, get
You
taken
can-
away from
you
you,
can rely
there's
on.
something they can't take away from us. And that's how it... oh, yeah. Yeah. That's everything.
So I think King Rob stuck up a link for Cosmic Shambles Network on the chat, and
Also, our Albert Hall gig, which was mentioned last time, Vitriola, where we had Robin Hitchcock on, failing really ever to talk about his amazing musical career, predominantly talking about Giant Killer Crab. In fact, I'm hoping I might ask Robin if he can come back tomorrow, because I found this is the copy of Locusts that he actually gave to me. He sent this to me, he found a copy in Australia. He went, I can't remember if you've got this copy of Locust, and I didn't have this copy of Locust. I had some other copies of Locust, but I didn't have this copy. And so he sent me this. This is one of my. It seems the start of a glorious summer as Alan Alton and his family settle into a new home in Shropshire Hills. Then insects start to appear. First there's one, then hundreds, thousands, millions. A smothering tide of destruction covers the land. Locusts. So anyway, we might eventually do our locust-based musical, because we have once done a crab-based musical. So so Robin was on our Albert Hall show last night, as well as Chris Hadfield, and we had Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother doing a reading of Moby Dick with Reece Shearsmith and others. It was much better than if we'd had to do. Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
I mean,
I know astronauts, all right. I've met astronauts. Yeah.
A friend of astronaut.
just follow. I'm sure that King Rob can switch me in and out to sort of plug stuff. But anyway, the Wi-Fi Wars things. There's quiz night tomorrow night at 7:30, which clashes horribly with Vitriola, and Game Overboard at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, apparently. So
I don't think it clashes horribly with Vitriola. I think it's perfect.
beautifully.
I think it really clashes.
Really.
I think it clashes romantically with Vitriola. It's really lovely.
Someone
It is,
just
it's
said, "Why does this show never get astronauts?" And that's true. That's the only thing this show hasn't had.
I'll give him a call. I've got an astronaut hotline here.
You got Tim Peake's number?
No, not Tim. I haven't got Tim Peake's number. He's a very secretive man.
Yeah, all right.
He played Marillion in space.
Well, there's a reason he went up into space. I'm a secretive man. I don't want everyone looking at me. I'm going into space for a while.
Play Marillion on my own.
It's the ultimate peeping Tom.
Oh no, it's over the ocean. Boring.
And if we hadn't earned the plugs,
Some mermaids.
if we hadn't earned the plugs, we definitely haven't earned this, which is, if you like the show, donate. There's a Streamlabs link down there, which will put a zombie on the screen apparently, or dothemoneything.com if you're ever minded to.
Please give us money, because the furloughing has not worked out.
If you give us enough money, we won't really feel the want to do this again.
Oh.
Yes, remove the hunger.
That's always your threat, Michael. Please give us some money and I'll
Will
stop.
you pay me to stop?
It's
Lovely.
I can see the tactics you're building up. Anyway, now we've learned how a real agony aunt, or the readers of Reddit,
hang
do
on,
it.
sorry. Can I
Yes.
just do one other plug? Because it's not. I'm doing a quiz for a charity called the Bike Project on Saturday night. I think it starts about 7:00 or something like that. But it's a really lovely charity, refugee-based charity. It's called the Bike Project, and I'm doing hosting a quiz for them. And yes, Saturday night. There we go.
Brill. Brill. Is that by the same sort of links as the Cosmic Shambles sort of stuff?
Just go
I'll
to the
find it,
Twitter thing or something somewhere around.
If you're watching Twitch, you'll be able to find it. Right, so now we've learned how a real agony aunt, or the readers of Reddit, do it. Let's see how we deal with some problems from tonight's viewers. Neil got in touch on Twitter to ask, I became friends with a new person before the lockdown, and things have moved on during it, but we still haven't had a date. Any ideas for a socially distanced first date now we're allowed out?
I need to ask one really important question in this,
Yes?
and it's so important.
Okay.
When you say Neil,
Yes?
is it
Yes.
our Neil?
It is, yeah.
Neil's banging someone? Is he banging? And he wouldn't tell us.
No, because
Lockdown's got in the way.
He's seeing someone behind Marillion's back. I cannot believe it.
He's been locked down, cock blocked. No.
cock down.
Isn't that a Puppy's podcast? Lockdown, cock block.
You know what? Danielle would have loved that, so thank you.
I would suggest,
Wow.
what about, because I don't know if the traps still own that Trandom, but this seems the perfect time to hire out the Tramden for a date.
That's
to
a shout.
just have, because so front
That's
seat,
true,
back seat,
yeah.
seat in between. That's a lovely. So you know, Paul and Darren
Mate.
and Jeremy can make a fortune on the dating Trandom, the lockdown dating
That is-
Trandom.
That is so lovely because not only is
Oh.
it a romantic date, it's also a lovely tribute to Tim Brooke Taylor.
Yeah, oh, that's true as well. Yeah,
Keeping his
Oh,
seat,
he can
keeping
be-
his seat free is really lovely.
That's how everyone that I see, I imagine Tim Brooke Taylor in between us. That's
Yeah.
how I keep my distance from people.
Sure.
It makes me a lot calmer having.
I love the fact that-
ghost of Tim Brooke Taylor.
that famous moment when Princess Diana said there were 3 people in this relationship. I never realised she meant Tim Brooke Taylor. I had at no point realised.
And that they were on a Trandom. Well, there you go. See, I knew that.
Margaret, were you ever on that Trandom?
I don't think I did ever have a go on it. No,
Should
because
we
they
explain what the
hated
Trandom
it
is?
so
It's,
much.
it's a triple tandem bike. Just for anyone who isn't
Yeah.
aware of the
No,
track
it's not a
network.
triple
Yeah.
tandem bike, is it? A triple tandem bike would be a
six-seater.
six-seater, yeah.
6.
Robin, you're not with astronauts now, okay? Speak to us at
just
our
gonna-
level.
hang on,
okay?
just going to ring up.
Doing
Triple
math.
tandem.
Just ringing up Buzz Aldrin to tack on the Trandom line. Well, and fuck you too. Anyway, so
Well, that's a lovely
well, that's
idea.
what it is. It's a 3-seat bicycle, and the Goodies famously rode one.
I think if you're saying you're going on a date but you're still not going to touch, is that what you're saying, Neil?
Yes, I think that's what Neil's saying.
well, for legal reasons.
Well, it is legal,
Social
isn't it?
distance.
That's what he's talking about.
The
He's not saying that
pandemic,
he's
yeah.
worried about the relationship and he wants it to be 2 meters apart. He's been very specific about the current climate.
Well, in a way, we've all been given restraining orders, haven't we? That's how I see this lockdown.
We've all been given
Is
an
everyone I'm
excuse.
not-
Yeah.
So
We've all got restraining orders in the eyes of
Yeah.
the Lord. That's how I've been looking at it.
So
No,
were you
I
going to
think
say
honestly,
Zorb
don't
balls
see each
again?
other.
Don't see each other.
No, you've got to. Well, I mean,
Shout at
there's
each
ways.
other from a.
There's ways of
Oh, it's
dating. Like,
a
I mean,
tragic.
you've got this to dissect afterwards, the two of you, right? You can sit together in your separate abodes and watch a film together. That's a very romantic
Yeah.
thing. Maybe order some takeaway delivery food, and surprise each other with separate meals. That's kind
Oh.
of fun. Yeah. And just whatever you do, never keep your other Skype camera or your Skype account on in case the person that you're cheating on calls during one of you. Because honestly, the spoilers after that will be terrible. Everything that you like. Oh, Margaret's cough. There you go. We've all got it.
I
You
think
can't
Neil's.
catch it.
I think Neil's
me.
question is less to do with how to remote date, and more to
Well,
do
no,
with
but
now that we're allowed out of the house and that we can come within 2 meters of each other
Oh, I see.
somewhere. What's an activity
Well-
that can be done and enjoyed?
The teacup
Liam
ride.
Green Jacket just
Teacup
said,
ride?
call your GP, ask for sex addiction referral. So shagging is medicinal, and you can go out
Oh,
to see.
God,
tip.
yeah.
That's not bad. I don't know.
But
I'm not sure that.
if you felt like being strict with the law and our guidelines, I suppose
No.
there's no fun fair, so you can't play dodgems. That's a shame because
And
dodgems
if
would be a distance and it would be ramming.
What about pedalos? You could both hire a pedalo. That's probably about 2 meters, especially if you're in.
Yeah.
Do you know
Especially
the
if you're quick enough to-
safest thing if you're
romantic.
going to do that is hire pedalos, but also goad some swans in that lake because they'll also work as a protective barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got goaded swans.
goaded swans.
Yeah.
Goaded swans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to Swan. They're going to get between you.
Yeah.
Goaded swan.
And that adds a
Everyone, that's
lovely.
classic first date.
It's a classic first date of Jeopardy and pedalo work. Yeah.
Now Neil's on the chat, so I'm going to get him to choose who
Oh,
is
is he
giving the
Saying
best advice.
pedalos
He is.
are good.
He said pedalos are good, so
Oh, hi,
I'm in the
Neil.
lead at the moment, guys. Surely someone else.
Oh,
will.
Also, the person who
Well-
said if you've got a 2 meter penis, it's all right. It's still not all right because if you touch someone with your penis, you are touching them.
Didn't necessarily say
2 meter
possessing
arms.
a 2-meter penis does not mean it's your penis that you've grown yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
It may be a separate penis you bought at auction.
A whale
Could be-
penis.
Yes.
It could be a whale penis he's brought on a date.
Rasputin, apparently. I remember in the Book of Lists they commented on the length of Rasputin as well, so it might just be.
Margaret, name one
God,
date. Name one date that you've been on that the
ones
other
have been
person hasn't
improved.
turned up with a whale cock, thrown at you and go, catch, and then run away. That is how you court people.
You're right, that is the classic.
That
Oh
is it, yeah.
no, Rob has to adjust my colour again. I haven't got that purple. Please.
Well, I think, going for a nice romantic walk. Oh God, I'm terrible at this.
But the thing is that if you go for a
terrible.
walk,
You're
you will
really
end up
serious
shouting
about
at
this.
people.
Mm.
That's what worries me, Michael. I've never seen you just go, why not?
See,
Set lovely
I didn't-
takeaways and that.
I didn't know it was Neil.
Oh.
I didn't know it was Neil.
Yeah.
I mean, already, I don't approve of this woman taking my Neil away from me. My Neil is my Neil. So I don't know who this person is. Has it been confirmed that she is a she? I don't know. That was a terrible presumption of me. But what I'm
No, I
saying
think
is,
it was.
Okay. I don't approve of this person. And actually, Neil, you're not late here.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'm going to change my mind. No, Michael, because I'm also worried about this. But because all music festivals have been cancelled, I won't be ringing up Neil to say, can you give us a lift to the end of the road festival? So, Neil, I give you full permission to have this relationship on the Trandom as long as it's over by about June the 26th, 2021, where I'll be ringing you up because I need a lift down to some festivals again. Is that okay?
Sounds like a plan.
I think that's fair. Oh, well,
I think whalebone penises would be a very good start-up pop-up shop at the moment.
Whale
Yes.
penis
Just
pop-up
as an
shop.
added- Yeah.
Ben,
Really?
can I,
Penis
2 meter
pop-up shop.
ones, so that everyone
Ben-
knows how far it is.
Yes,
can
Michael.
I ask, how are you in the lead at the moment?
Because Neil said that Pedlos was a good idea.
He hasn't made
right.
his decision yet, though. He's put it on the list, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was fun.
Right.
Margaret, you seem to be very down on the idea of meeting someone if you have to stay 2 meters
Well,
apart.
can I tell you?
You are quite huggy.
No, I suppose I know I am. No, this is my point, right? So my niece went out with her boyfriend on a 2 meter walk, and they said it was, and they both said it was so awful that they decided not to do it again.
How old are
It's
they?
so
Really hard.
upsetting to not.
It is,
they're
it's so hard.
16. They're not allowed, and I know that's a bit different because they'd already been touching. So maybe a first proper date is a bit different. But I
I
can't
thought you
keep
meant.
my
I
hands
thought
off
you meant
anyone.
just going out of the house, being anywhere near anyone. That's what I heard.
I know that's
yeah, it's
you.
horrible. It's really horrible.
Awful.
Do they do
No,
full body sous vides?
Sous vide.
Isn't
What's a
sous
sous
vide the
vide?
cooking thing where you're sort of wrapped in very
The
tight
Ban Marie.
plastic? No. I'm just thinking, like go zorb balling or something.
Yeah.
You could...
Zorbing. Oh, that'll be full of other people's juices.
Again, I don't know what
don't wanna
Zorb
do
farm
that.
you go to, Margaret.
No.
Because
What
you
do you
always
do at
go to a
Zorb?
budget Zorb farm, you do find it's filled with all manner of other things.
I don't think they're called Zorb farms.
Go to a reputable zorb farm.
If you are, guys, come on. If you are going to Zorb farm,
I think the fun thing is that first dates are always awkward. So I think they should have lots of dates. And the interesting suspense is this awkward due to lockdown and 2 meters apart? Or, so it just gives a nice kind of, a little frisson for the few months that
Yeah.
the awkwardness is government mandated rather than due to human psychology.
yes, you won't know for years whether it's actually just a complete write-off.
Yeah.
Neil's
or
thinking
just
a
part of
picnic.
the pandemic.
Neil's thinking a picnic where they
although
both have those grabber
You might be
things.
moved on. You might be moved on. Oh, are you allowed to
Yeah.
picnic now?
You're allowed to picnic
Oh,
now.
Okay.
You can picnic
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
As long as you're 2 meters apart, you can picnic with your household, or if you're 2 meters
That's
apart.
hard.
Okay.
If it's a busy park, it just becomes, I don't know, the whole thing's very...
To be sure, picnic 3 meters apart and just chuck the food into each other's mouths.
Yeah, well, a picnic then seems
No, but it's-
perfect, especially if you want to impress someone with your great cooking. Yeah, so there you go. Do that.
Rob has just said it's only in England
Oh, that's true.
picnic.
Yes, being irresponsible is only in England. Do remember that.
I have to
Neil,
admit, I enjoyed your grabber thing because the way you did grabber, rather than see a mechanical grabber, I saw two 1970s radio DJs, and it was a very different kind of look.
yeah.
In that case, bring Peter Powell. He's fine.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, Peter's fine.
On the middle of the tram.
Is this what I'm going to have to Google this week before I put the video up on YouTube?
Oh, no.
Peter
Fine, yeah.
Powell.
Yeah,
Let's add some more. Andy
fine.
Peebles.
My 9/11 stuff sounds all right now, doesn't it?
No.
Well, Neil, I do hope we've helped. Do let us
We
know if
definitely
anyone's
have.
given good advice. I'm going to move on to someone called SM.
Ooh.
Now this is a long one, but it's an interesting one. SM emailed to say my line manager is a bit of a prick. She regularly claims work a colleague and I have done as her own in conversations with the higher ups. She also exaggerates her role when it comes to problem solving and the magnitude of the problem itself. It's like she builds her own fantasy narrative, which she can then believe, even though she must know deep down it's wrong. We're not sure how to react. We try to get on with the job and might offer up the occasional subtle correction, but mostly it's a matter of biting our tongues. Then, a few days before lockdown, she asked me to proofread a report she'd written, but rather than save it to the shared drive, she just handed me a laptop. On it, I found a folder on her desktop titled Photos. Inside were selfies of her boss, in the office hallway wearing the coats of some of my work colleagues. That's weird, right?
That is
But I
not
can't-
where I thought it was going.
No, but I can't admit to having taken a peek, nor ask my colleagues if it's totally innocent and they let her wear their coats for a photograph. What should I
Yes,
do with my...
You can totally admit that.
Hang on. Two questions. What should I do about my boss in general? And what about this coat photo thing? Am I making more of it because I think she's a prick?
No, I think the coat photo thing is insane.
No.
And if you really liked her before that, that would still be insane. I think there are two different problems, but the coat thing is really, really weird.
Why
No, but it's
would you
part...
not? Sorry, Robin. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, Michael.
No, I'm just sorry, Robin.
No, sorry, Michael.
I'm sorry, Robin.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael. Sorry,
Nominate
Michael. Sorry,
Michael.
Michael.
What was the question?
Oh,
Sorry?
God.
But isn't the coat part of the thing? So she not really she's often saying that she's done work that other people have done. So to make herself believe that, she becomes those people in the corridor. She goes, oh well, Gillian did all this work. I'll just pop up. I am Gillian and I've just finished the work. Now I'm not Gillian anymore, but that was true when I did it. So that it feels to me that the coats play a major part in the psychology of this.
Reinforces
she
it.
wants to be.
So she is those people. She really has done the work, because many people do see the coat as having the homeopathic qualities of people doing various different forms of accountancy and line management.
Yeah.
There you go. That's that problem solved.
No.
Yeah, brilliant. That's that done.
What I would usually say is try and catch them in the act, but obviously since lockdown you can't.
No.
So there's going to be some other. I don't know.
Why aren't you screaming loudly? Why are you wearing everyone's coat? Why aren't you saying that loudly?
Because you can't reveal that you looked in your boss's secret.
You can when you
folder.
see photos of them wearing everyone's coat. Because it's
What
too
if she
weird.
What if she has got a good reason?
Hang on, what I don't want to know is how many. If it's a couple of coats, maybe that was, oh, hello, I'm thinking of getting a new coat and I love these couple of coats. If it's more than 7 coats, I think then there's a
Definitely
greater...
not.
If there's more than 7 coats, I would cast Sally Field to play the part of that line manager. So that's what I think. The coat element, number of coats, is a major part of that story. Couple of coats.
We've got
Badass
some.
Mucker is saying she planted those photos as a test.
Ooh,
Oh.
this is good.
You see, this is like an M. Night Shyamalan.
We're getting some good.
Yeah, it's awful.
Badass Mucker also says wearing their underwear would be suspect, but coats is fine.
I don't
So
think
I think they're quite
that's
permissive.
fine.
Also, to be fair, if you are able to work in an office and find the underwear hanging on hooks of the people that you're working with, the office itself has really fallen into such disrepair. It's not going to be an issue that company is going to be running. Just look for another job. Won't be a line manager anymore.
Some other tips from the chat: mouse traps in the coats for next time.
Yeah. Again,
That's-
post-lockdown, that's the...
Spray the inside of the coats with neon paint from DVD Smith. Sorry, mouse traps came from Aged P. Coat Perv says, John is in Devon. Thanks, John.
I thought the name of the person commenting was Coach.
Yes, so did I.
Yeah. What a coincidence!
Hang on.
The one time I've watched this.
Do you know what's in? I've heard, by the way, this is the way that people traditionally get revenge in these situations: is you take out the lining of the coat and you fill it with prawns, and then you sew it back on their coat, and then eventually they don't realise when they go to sell the coat that it smells terrible. I think that's what you do, isn't it? The prawn coat revenge.
Prawn coat revenge.
Yeah, I think that's the way people say that.
classic.
Just sew prawns into the lining of the coat.
Stu T. Lee says, add an extra folder on her laptop, a subfolder on the original with 2 photos in it, one with you in the coat done up and another with it opened and stark bollock naked. I mean, that's one way of letting them know.
This is getting into a weird area.
I'll give it a go.
Don't commit more crimes.
Objock says, put a secret acrostic in your next report that she will nick. So the first letter of each paragraph spells out something like, you stinky bellend. That's quite pleasing. I mean, no one will know. That'd be good.
You need to expose them, though, don't you?
Also, Distracted Dan says,
That's the Margaret I love. Let's expose them.
Distracted Dan says, go to a falconry display. Then the distance is required. Oh, no, that's a reply to the earlier one. and
no,
what?
We have to stick to that.
Okay.
We have to stick to it.
So there are 2 separate issues here, right? I mean, there's the general issue of the boss just nicking all your good ideas, and then there's you think it's all
They're
interlinked.
not a separate thing. This wearing other people's coats and also wearing other
Taking
people's
their
ideas is not a separate issue.
It's true. And you didn't commit a crime, no, by looking at the thing, because she did give you the laptop.
Yes.
But it's not ethically all right, is it? I mean, I did once confront someone because I'd looked in their diary and found out something.
Did you?
And the thing was bad enough that I did get away with it. But it's if the woman says, no, but those people all said, they were sponsoring me to wear their coats for a charity thing.
Yeah.
Then you're in trouble. It's not quite bad enough, is it?
No, but that's never happened, so that's fine. No one's ever gone, I'm on a sponsored coat wearing day.
I don't know about coat.
It's never coat nonce. I read in our messages.
Robin, Jonathan Cobb has come up with a response that might render this whole conversation redundant, which is, what if the boss has no team but imagines them based on a mysterious disused wardrobe and wrote the problem herself? So
that is something in
actually.
That is much better. That's beautiful. That is. I work in a busy office with people I don't get into. Yes, I don't get on with them either. Neither do I. What about you, Gene? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
and we can then take that into an even more Narnia-based scenario eventually. So this is fine.
So I believe that SM is watching tonight. So
yeah,
what's our advice?
SMR's. Well, no, she said, "Oh fuck, rumbled." So I think we have to look at that one. It's,
okay.
It's absolutely fine.
Well done, Jonathan Cobb.
Expose them. I don't know how.
Go onto Instagram and put all the photos online. Go, this is my mad line manager.
You could just start sending her pictures
photos
at a time, and you can get them made into jigsaws and things, can't you? You can get them on a cake.
Can't you just
or a jigsaw?
Send a jigsaw.
What do you this picture of you wearing someone else's coat?
Well, no, I was thinking, what if you just have a coat with a little label in it saying, "Why won't you wear me?" Just a picture of that placed in amongst all of the other coats. A coat with longing.
Oh, she's saying I didn't keep them, but she wished she had.
Oh.
You might have imagined this whole thing. Do you have carbon monoxide problem in your house?
No, I mean, it's a fair question. Did you imagine it? Let's just wait for the answer.
Okay.
Let's just wait. Just wait for the
I
answer.
think she might have passed out from the carbon
Just wait for the answer.
monoxide.
She'll be fine. She'll be absolutely fine. Just wait for the answer.
I'm scared.
Should be the answer.
think
Answer
she's
anytime
gone.
now. Answer anytime.
Okay.
No, it's all going to be fun. Just wait for the answer. Just wait for the answer.
No, she's not writing.
This is
I think she's gone to check
So-
if she's imagined it.
Well, that's what I mean. I
Oh, there you go.
wasn't
Oh,
We're all
expecting.
no.
blurry. We're all blurry. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Graham Coxoney. Robin is
Yay.
David Albany.
I'm Dave Roundtree.
And I'm the other one.
Ben, you're a twat.
Oh, I'm Alex Jonesy. Oh, I am cheesy. Now, can I just pick up on this very quickly? Badass Marker says, where do we submit a problem? I have a good one. I mean, we are dangerously close to the bottom of the barrel, problem-wise. If you have a problem...
I just
I mean,
thought you meant the show.
this problem SM is great, but like it came in today. If you have a problem, or just if you've heard a problem you want us to try and fix, please DM us on Twitter, DTRT Podcast, or you can email rightthing1, that's the number 1, so rightthing numeral 1 at gmail.com. Please send us some problems because they're fun and we don't have enough of them. Yes, Margaret.
Well, I was just thinking, I feel like almost all the problems we've ever had are just, made
We've
up
made
by
worse.
lonely people.
Can't you just get old copies of things like the TV Times and Cosmo, and then once a week also just cut out one of the problems from 1978 and see whether culturally we've moved on or not?
Could do.
I'm just
Might do.
thinking of, that seems to be at the bottom of the barrel. Whatever's lining it seems to be an old copy of TV Times.
No, in defence, completely against what I just said. It is good to have real ones as well.
It really is. Great to have
Especially
people
when
it's
they're
on
on
great
the, on the
having
chat.
problems.
Or because it really reminds you of how much worse other people's lives are than your own.
Oh God, other people
That's
are
a
awful,
terrible
aren't they?
sentence.
Aren't they shit?
No, we will be reduced to doing our own one soon, and everyone will be very sorry.
Yes. Oh, well, I'd like you to bring your own problems if you have any, Margaret and Michael, and guests. Robin?
I mean, the show would
Got
be
any
a lot
problems,
longer.
Robin?
Yeah. I came up with this idea for a double act 10 years ago, and it's dragged on for so long. It's only intermittent, but
To be
also
fair,
he
to be
doesn't
fair,
even
with
invite
the-
me to his terrible dinner parties. I've known him for years.
No. I wouldn't make you suffer through it. Margaret in a heartbeat. You.
Yeah. It's a punishment.
Can we fit in one more problem?
Yeah, sure.
Do you mind, Robin?
Yeah, I've got 17% battery. That should be fine.
Good. Excellent. Bit of jeopardy. This is what we need. So there's a guy called Dan, Distracted Dan. He lives on a narrow
Lovely
boat.
Dan. I know Dan.
Lovely Dan. Yeah. We helped him a couple of weeks ago with a problem about
Some
piss-covered
pissy
daffodils.
daffodils, yeah.
Pissy daffodils. He's got back in touch to ask, Dear panel, I live on a narrowboat in Scotland. The only heating system on board is a solid fuel fire, and on occasions last year the canal froze over. In order to make space for one of my drum kits, I need to take out the fire. Given that all work schedules have been destroyed by the present crisis, and a later lockdown could leave me without another heating system installed before the winter arrives, should I change my plans or continue to install the drums? Thanks, Dan. Now, to be fair to Dan, I think he responded to one of my earlier pleas for please send us your problems, whatever they are. But please, go ahead.
But Dan, is that one of those problems that while you were writing it, you knew what the answer was? Like by the time you'd finished writing it, you thought, which do I need more? Or do you think that playing the drums is going to keep you warm?
Well, that's what Badass Mucker says. Drumming does keep you
Yeah.
warm. So
It's
you
not.
can't
I
do it
don't
while
think it's.
you're
It's
asleep.
not. It's not his problem, though, is it? It's the problem for all those other people, like Valerie and Jim, who have retired and they've got a lovely narrowboat, and they go, of course, you know what, Valerie, it's just beautiful here, it's just so lovely and quiet, and oh God, it's October, he's going to start again. And then they're trapped for 4 months listening to someone go, I wouldn't mind if he knew something more than Let There Be Drums, but it is only Let There Be Drums.
Why do you think he only drums in the winter?
Because that's the only time he needs to drum. Because the other time he could just do a little bit of soft jazz. Oh, it's spring. Oh, it's getting chilly. Let there be drums.
Well, I'm certainly glad. Certainly glad he's got central beating.
Oh no!
I think we've run out of time. haven't we? We must have. We must have run out of time by now.
Oh dear! I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh dear. Taylor Eyes suggests get a dinghy and put the drums on that. It's not a bad shout.
Oh, so have little trips out with the dinghy.
DVD Smith says the fact it has 2 drum kits probably explains why he lives alone on a houseboat. I'm not sure alone was part of the problem, but anyway.
I just love the dinghy thing though, because that's like one of those brilliant Jeopardy movies where someone then gets dragged in by the stream and they're going down a waterfall. And how am I going to stop this going down the waterfall? That's a bit. Oh, I hope someone makes that. That sounds as big as that Status Quo movie they made. What was that movie? Sorry, Status Quo.
Oh, Bula Quo!
Bula Quo. Yeah. This sounds like a great sequel with the late Ginger Baker.
We've got to watch Bula Quo.
Yeah,
Why have you not watched it yet?
Bula Quo watch party.
Bula Quo?
I'm happy to do that. Bula Quo.
We've got to watch Bula Quo.
Yeah, basically, Status Quo go on a Caribbean holiday and then get involved with, is it drug gangsters or something like that? There's a kind of, And it's, who's the American lead in it? There's a well-known comedy actor.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis plays, yeah,
he plays the part of Rick Parfitt.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know, Robin.
Update: Distracted Dan has 3 kits, 3 drum kits on the narrowboat.
Dan, you need to stay warm.
Dan,
can't you just have one massive drum kit?
Look at me,
one of them,
please. Yeah, you can live with 2 drum kits. I'm saying.
Yeah,
you can't,
and you'll still have central beating.
Please. Dan, you're going to be found slumped over your 3rd drum kit, frozen to it.
No, that's Margaret threatening you, by the way. She's saying, fucking do this or I'll find you.
How many narrowboats in Scotland can there be?
Sure.
That is not how the Bob Dylan song begins, but it's a good try.
I think we're broadly anti-3rd drum kit, aren't we?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm pro it. I'm so pro it. Just a narrowboat full of drums is just that everything else has been removed, and it's that moment that as you take out the far last useful object, that's the moment of realization when it's way too late. And I think that's a very beautiful thing.
When it's there instead of your toilet and your kitchen.
Well, turn one upside down, you've got a toilet.
Yeah, true.
Also means each time you get...
Sorry, Robin.
No, I was just going to say, also adds, you have suspense every time you get to a lock, because you can do that beginning bit from the EastEnders as well. So that's kind of nice as well. So I think there's a lot of good reasons to lose everything that's actually possible for you to live with and just merely live in this percussive hell.
Yeah, and then you can play the start of We Will Lock You.
What's happened?
Dear.
Can somebody come and rescue me from my own front room?
Oh dear. I can't. Apparently the numbers watching have gone down since the bad moment. I'd have thought a kick drum is robust enough to also be a solid fuel heater. That's what that's
turn
my guess.
Upside down and fill it with.
Well, they're sort of open on one side. Anyway.
It's also beautiful. I am the music man. What can I play? 3 sets of drums. What? You're not going to
you?
3 sets of drums.
Drum me, drum me, drum me, drum.
I'm interested to know if Dan.
Drum me, drum me, drum me, drum. That's our
what drums
advice.
sound like
That's
to
our
me.
advice. You take it or leave it. Drum me, drum me, drum me, drum.
Drummy,
Drummy, drum, drummy, drum.
Drummy, drum.
Yeah. Drummy, drummy, drum.
Drummy, drum. Drummy, drummy, drum. Yours sincerely.
Drum.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in this week. I hope you had a good time.
What's that? Phil Collins is ill. Well, we need somebody who can sound like a drum. Margaret Cabourn-Smith. I've seen all 6 pictures of her spotlight thing as well. She can wear a hat like Phil does. She can do everything.
I can wear so many people's coats.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Drummy, drummy. Oh, drummy, drummy.
Drummy, drummy. Drummy, 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 drummy. That's me doing Wipeout.
What I find weirdest about
They cut
this
me out.
is that, of course,
It's everything.
normally when we do gigs, you know, we're not at home. But slowly, my son's hearing me do gigs at home. He's below now, and he's thinking, I found out what Dad does, and I don't think this can't turn out well.
No, he's
For
going to
anyone.
take you aside at some point and say, you need to rethink some things.
Yeah, you need to.
Get a narrowboat.
Get an about. Well, Distracted
That's
Dan
our advice to
Drum,
everyone.
drum.
has responded
I'd love a
saying,
narrowboat.
he's responded saying, I wish we'd stuck to the teacher killing the cat, which is a callback about 3 weeks. Fair enough. I wish we'd stopped then too. But we haven't, and we'll probably be back next week. So,
We're trapped here.
And we probably will be back next week.
yeah. So do join us.
So you've already got a
give us-
problem.
Yes. How do we escape? Unless anyone's got anything further use to suggest to Dan.
No.
I don't know. There's symbol. No, you're right. Drum me, drum me, drum, drum, drum.
The two of you together is amazing. With drummy, drummy, and cimbally, it's
Come on.
annoying. The Edinburgh Festival's not on this year.
Yeah.
I think you'd
Could
not
I
only
be-
win the Fringe, you'd win the International as well.
Yeah.
Can I do kick?
The fancy bit.
Kick.
That sounds nothing like a kick drum. It doesn't
No, it
sound
doesn't,
like.
does it?
Where's drummy, drummy, and cymbal?
Drummy,
Drum.
Sorry for drumming this home.
Oh.
And the only song you can do
I've
is
got the-
I Am the Music Man. It's,
And not all of it.
no.
You keep getting distracted.
Right, well, I don't know how to end this, but
Oh no, we
It's a
have to keep
pity
going.
because you started so professionally.
I did
I mean, that
start
was quite
professionally.
clear. That was underlined so much, the opening bit.
I could count
Well-
down. No.
Yeah, the drummers know how to start. They never know how to end. 2, 3, 4. And now we're screwed. I don't know how this ends.
No.
Oh my God, Lego Long says drummy, 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 drum is kind of catchy. So
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
How did lockdown affect culture? This is the Christmas number 1. Drummy, drum, cymbal.
This is later with Jules Holland.
Cincinnati.
And here comes Jules Holland. Boogie, woogie, 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 woogie.
oh. Okay.
Oh, come on, we've done a play out for you. That must be the end. We've played you
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna fade out now.
Bye. Drummy, 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 drum, drummy, 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 drummy.